And this is the Navy pictures. This is me in my Navy outfit.
Where?
In Dutch Harbor. These are the guys that I worked with. They were in a butcher shop.
Mm-hmm. So that was first job in the Navy, was working in a butcher shop?
Right.
You remember who they are?
Is the famous chef there?
No. I remember some of the names. One of them was Baxter. This one was Georgia.
Georgia was his name, or you just called him Georgia?
Just call him Georgia because he came from Georgia.
But they have famous chefs in these CBs.
Yeah.
In the CBs, oh yeah, I had guys that worked in the biggest restaurants in Chicago. He would make pancakes for 1,200 people. I never saw him measure anything. He just poured it in, and he knew it the right consistency, and they all came out perfect.
So were you like a line cook? So you would help him?
Oh sure.
Or
I
you
helped
would-
him and I helped serve it.
Uh-huh. Were you in charge of cooking it sometimes?
No, I was never in charge. I was never there was a chief cook,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a first class and second class,
Uh-huh. And you were
third class.
third class?
Yeah, I started off as a seaman and worked up to second class.
But you didn't want to stick with it?
It wasn't a question of that. The war was up, I left. I wasn't going to stick
After
around.
three-
I wasn't interested in promotions.
No.
3
I was
years.
interested-
How
I was
many?
interested in getting it out. 3 years, 6 months, and 16 days.
So yeah, it wasn't something you remember fondly?
I remember that day was very, very fond.
And these are the two friends. I don't know if they were just dressed up, and I took pictures of them. This is part of Company B, and this is foul weather gear, you know, that we had.
How many sailors you think were there?
1,200. See, and here's on the inside, and we took pictures of the butcher shop.
Is that on a boat?
Huh? No, this is on land. A Dutch Harbor, Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
And here,
They were afraid the Russians or the Japanese were coming.
yeah,
The Russians.
Oh, so they took over you guys came and went and took over.
Japanese,
We're friends with the Russians still,
right,
right?
right. And this was a picture that I think that my brother sent us, and I think my brother was in here someplace. I think this one here. He sent it, he couldn't tell us where he was. And this is where we had services. And that was a part of the company that
You had Jewish service?
yeah. Right
In
here,
the
it said
chapel.
Mass, Bible classes, Jewish services, Episcopal services, Lutheran services.
What do you think won the war?
Hmm?
The prayers.
The
And
prayers,
this is in Pearl Harbor. I went to a garden there. And there was a statue there that I took a picture of somebody.
Hawaii. Is that where you made the?
I made a sailor there.
right? Really?
The filter
For the Jewish sailors?
Yeah.
Did any of the other sailors join you and have gefilte
Some,
fish?
not too many.
Huh.
Did you remember his mother's recipes? What'd you make? Gefilte fish?
Yeah.
Right, but was that the only time you cooked kosher food? Was it for a Seder or?
Well, I don't know if it was kosher or not. I didn't say it was kosher. I didn't say anything about that. I
Right.
just said it was Passover, make them feel at home.
Did
Right.
Did you have matzah?
I don't think they sent us matzah.
Did they? Who sent
Yeah.
you matzah?
Well, they always had
Navy. Navy.
He was on a ship for 7 weeks coming home.
Coming home. A slow boat from Japan. It was just a question of you think you gotta go at the speed of the slowest boat that you're on. And
And
that was a boat, and we stopped in Hawaii for a while. We stopped in
Panama.
Panama for a while, we went through the canal.
And how many thousand on there?
Oh God, who knows who many is on there. This was a carrier, they converted carrier. It wasn't a regular carrier like you see today. It was one of those battle wagons that can convert it to a carrier during the war. And there must have been maybe 1,000 crew, and it's probably 2,000 people. You get through with breakfast, you stand in line for lunch, you stand in line for dinner.
But you were a cook. You didn't have to stand in line.
Well, not in the ship.
No,
Not
no,
on the ship,
when
not
I
on the
was
ship.
going home, I wasn't a cook anymore. I was
Oh,
just one of
man.
the
Bummer.
guys that had enough points to, see, the points are figured by the time of duty, length of duty that you not everything. Throw
No.
them away.
Huh.
They had enough there to
Plenty of
Well,
clothes.
we timed it just right. That's right.
So, I'm curious, what was it about the Navy that you disliked so much? Beyond fighting a war, obviously.
What didn't I like about the Army? That's why I figured my brother's in the Army, and he told me about the Army. I didn't want to go in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was serious about a CB, construction battalion. I said I'd rather be in that,
Mm-hmm. But
land-based.
you still didn't like it.
Oh, I didn't fall in love with it, or I'd still be there, maybe. Was just being in the service was disagreeable.
Yeah, you're
That's
taking
all.
out your life is interrupted. Then he got news that his brother was missing,
Right.
and he knew that
And my
what the
nephew,
family was going
nephew was
through.
killed in Europe, so I was out, wanted out as soon as I could get out. As soon as the war was over, well, I said, "They let me out, let me go, I'm gone."
I don't think I'd
All
want
these guys that they're always put on the news, or some guy is so gung-ho about going into a service country. I didn't go because I wanted to serve my country. I went because I had to go.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Was either drafted or go into the Navy. It was one or the other. You
Well,
didn't have a choice.
and then it was really wartime
Well,
where they knew
of course. The main thing is, Sam, that they've never had a war in this country. It's always been over there, in
Right.
Africa, or in someplace else,
Asia,
in Europe, Asia. Never had a war here.
Right.
So people don't know
Except
what
Civil
war
War.
is like.
Right.
They don't really know what war is like. They have
Mhm.
some idea what war is like, and those people who didn't come back, those people get hurt personally because their family, their sons, cousins, uncles, or whatever didn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
But we've never had a war here where it's been
Right.
destroyed, where bombs fall on you and you destroy the city, you destroy the town, you destroy the city,
Mm-hmm.
you destroy the country.
Right. Well, but even the people who've been to the wars in other places come back and sometimes still want to fight.
It's not the same. It is not the
They
same.
they remember the
You
fun
know,
part.
you cannot say that it's going to be the same if you're in Afghanistan or if you're in Iraq and the bombs are falling on you, or you're in Berlin, if you're in England where the bombs are falling by the hundreds and thousands every day, and you see the buildings crumbling every day, and you have to go down to a bomb shelter every day. It's not the same. No matter how much you may picture it, it's not the same as you don't live through it.
Right. In your own house, your own home,
In your own country,
with your family,
right?
I
That's
suppose.
the big
plenty
difference.
of war
That's the big
stories have been written.
difference.
Yeah.
No matter how much you might talk about the Holocaust, but unless people come and tell you about they being in the camps, you'll never know. And if you're not there yourself, you'll never know.
The horror of it. I think we know the horror of that.
Did you actually have at any point meet any enemy troops?
I
Japanese?
told you on Iwo Jima was the first time I met anybody.
Did you you actually saw were
I didn't see
In
any
con-
action per se. I mean, I wasn't in See, D plus 3. By the time I got there, the island was already taken.
And there was a field of dead bodies of
No.
Japanese. And they didn't go and pick off any
Dog
IDs.
tags and identify him and give notice to the government and say, these are the kill you kill. They just dug a big trench, maybe a trench as wide as this house, and probably a half a mile long. And they took a bulldozer and everybody went into that, covered it with lime and covered it with earth.
That press camp, big Brodsky job. As the line advanced, we closed press camp rear. They became press camp advance. We pulled into Cologne, and the press camp was set up in a very elegant section of town. And we pulled up, and there was a major named Jay Whistles. Stood outside, a big key ring with sets of keys in it. Each arriving newspaper person got the keys to the house to leave. And this was in an upscale section. Matter of fact, in my living room wall there is a barometer that's so the Yanks did their share of looting. Hey, you're human. Yeah. Yeah, these bastards, they cutting into my life. They did all these horrible things. Fuck it, let's take this. Rip it out.
You didn't get those perks in the Army and the Navy. You didn't get to loot somebody's house.
Oh yeah, Hawaii.
Oh,
Sure
yeah.
did. In fact, I sent home a Buddha. I confiscated from someone.
Where is it?
Somebody's plantation.
Where is
It's
the
just
Buddha?
I had him. I don't know what happened to him. Small Buddha. I sent it home.
But Hawaii, we owned Hawaii. It wasn't. They were Americans, right, on Hawaii?
Of course, I was stationed in Hawaii for a whole year.
So it wasn't really looting. You weren't really allowed to loot Americans.
I would call it looting. And I just took a Buddha, but you should see what some of the other guys took.